What's up, guys? This is the Hiding Our Bias podcast, and I'm Caleb Brooks, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Tripp Blackmon. Tripp, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing really good after this weekend. Packers got a big victory on Sunday. Kind of was a little bit closer than I was hoping that it was going to be, but
yeah, you texted me. I think it was before halftime, and you said this is going to get ugly. And I told you to take it back, and you still wouldn't take it back. And then finally, I think it was before the Cowboys actually tied. You said I'd take it back, and so I think that you took back your jinx. So I think that really it was you cost them to blow the lead, but it was also because of you that they won. So congratulations.
Well, I thought that I really thought when it was 21-3. That we were, witnessing what I'd said would happen all week, which was, the Cowboys came out sluggish, had not played in 2 weeks, didn't have any rhythm, and they didn't. They didn't have a lot of rhythm. The Packers were on fire early, which, I expected. And I think the biggest turning point in that game was when David Bakhtiari went down with an injury. I think it was Bakhtiari. It might have been Beluga. But one of them hurt their knee and had to go out for 2 series, and that's a big deal. The Packers are a lot of people consider them to have 2 of the best tackles in the NFL, and they've had both of them this year for one of the first times in a long time. And you've seen how much it's helped Aaron Rodgers. I saw a stat today that Rodgers has thrown 60 passes this year where he's had 5 seconds or more in the pocket, and all other quarterbacks in the NFL haven't. Nobody's had over 33. So that's kind of just it speaks volumes about that offensive line that he gets to play behind. And early in the year, you saw the Packers receivers weren't really able to get open. And so while Rodgers was able to sit back a lot and, be able to move around the pocket, nobody was getting open, and he was ending up getting sacked or throwing it away. But now the receivers are getting open, and the Packers offense is rolling right now.
Yeah, they really are. You can't let a man like Aaron Rodgers have more than 5 seconds to throw the ball, because he is going to find somebody. And if he doesn't find somebody, he's gonna run off for about 5 or 6 yards anyway. So you cannot let him have a lot of time. One thing that really impressed me, obviously I haven't really watched the Packers a whole lot this season, but this past weekend when I watched them, Aaron Rodgers looked extremely well, pretty much the whole game, but there were certain drives where I remember thinking, in certain plays where he would be sitting back in the pocket, he's having a lot of time to throw, and then, one side of the pocket starts caving in, so he rolls out of the other side. And he's just rolling out, and you're thinking, he's just going to throw it away, just avoid the sack. Well, he throws it, and you're still thinking that he's throwing it away, and there's a guy about 25 yards down on the sideline who makes an incredible catch, and that happened twice. Like two incredible catches down the sideline where I just thought that he was just throwing that out of bounds. And they were seeds on a line straight to the guy, and both of them had, I think they were both third down throws. One of them obviously was the one that was like 3rd and 20, and it set up the field goal or whatever. But that really impressed me with Aaron Rodgers. He never gives up on the play. One thing, Aaron Rodgers is probably he's probably the best quarterback to ever take advantage of defenses not being ready, in the sense of, drawing guys into the neutral zone and snapping the ball real quick and then throwing it deep, or going ahead or seeing guys running off the field and snapping the ball and getting the defense with a 12-men on the field penalty. Just little things like that Aaron Rodgers does that I feel, and even when he does get those situations that don't come around, maybe they might come around 3 or 4 times a game, tops, and he makes them count, and he will literally throw a strike whenever he needs to throw a strike. And I just thought it was an incredible game by him, especially on that last drive where he got him in field goal range, and Mason Crosby nailed 2, since the first one was technically there was a timeout right before they snapped it, but pretty much 2 pretty long field goals to send him to the next stage. But that was awesome.
The first one was 56, and the second one was 51. So he basically hit three 50-yard field goals in the last 33 seconds of that game, or
Yeah,
93 seconds of that
yeah.
game.
That
It
that
was
was really
impressive.
that was really impressive, and I mean even for the Cowboys, honestly, after Green Bay hit that field goal, hit the I would you say 56,
Yeah, it was 56.
the 56 one to go ahead, and then the Cowboys got the ball back. They drove down the field pretty easily. I thought they were going to score a touchdown. Obviously, I felt
Yeah, well,
like
the Packers secondary is really beat up right
yeah,
now. They've been playing without Sam Shields all year, who's their top corner. Morgan Burnett went out early in that game the other day, and they were playing with some scout team players back in the secondary, and it started to show late in the game. The Cowboys were able to get open, and man, I'll tell you what, you got to credit Zeke Elliott. I thought he was going to be a bust going into the NFL, and I'm a believer now. The guy can play.
yeah, he's definitely good. He's definitely a good back, and I mean Dak. I mean, obviously they were struggling the first few drives, but once they pretty much got settled in, I mean they were tough to stop. Him and Dez and um, pretty much just everybody on that offense started playing well around it might have been the third or the fourth drive of the game, but and then
Yeah,
even on that last drive, they were moving it down the field pretty good. And I felt like they kind of got a little too conservative. Either they got too conservative, or the Packers defense realized, we really got to lock this thing down, or else we're going to lose on a touchdown right here. So that was really big. But overall, it was an outstanding game.
yeah, it was definitely the best game of the weekend.
It might have, I
Steelers
mean,
and
it might have been one of the best games of the year.
yeah, it probably was. It was came down to the end. Like I said, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be early, but you got to credit the Cowboys being able to come back. I'm sure if that game would have been in Lambeau, it would have been, probably different. I doubt they ever come back in that game if it's at Lambeau, but they were able to feed off the energy of that crowd. And, you got to credit a young Dak Prescott really stepped up in, a big time situation. And he showed that he is the quarterback of the future for the Cowboys. I don't think there's any question about that. Dak had a good season. He's definitely rookie of the year if Zeke isn't. And the future's bright for the Cowboys, especially if they can keep that offensive line together. They definitely have a
Yeah,
bright future. Wasn't really surprised that the Falcons blew out the Seahawks the way they did. I was surprised that Houston didn't get blown out by the Patriots. Really, they hung in there for a while and played a good game. And then the Steelers didn't score a touchdown, but found a way to win, winning 18-16. And some questionable calls in that game that didn't go the Chiefs' way. But you got the big game now with Brady and Roethlisberger in the AFC Championship. And I saw a stat the other day: in the last 14 AFC Championship games, only one has not had Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, or Peyton Manning in it.
yeah, that's pretty impressive. And the other guy was Joe Flacco, I believe.
Yeah, it was Joe
Yeah, Joe
Flacco that
Flacco,
won it.
which I mean that's still pretty good company. Even but Joe Flacco, obviously, he's not. I feel like he's not the quarterback he used to be. He doesn't really have a whole lot of help anymore, especially on defense like they had whenever Ray Lewis was there. But yeah, this weekend was really good. I thought that pretty much. I mean, when you really look at it, I saw a tweet this past weekend. Of the 8 games that have been played, all 8 games, the best quarterback has won each game, I thought.
Yeah, I would say so. But going into this weekend now, it's going to be really interesting because you got the 4 top quarterbacks of this season. I would say 4 of the top 5 because I think Breeze also had a good year, throwing for over 5,000 again this season. But Matt Ryan's had a great year, big improvement from last season. Rodgers' last 8 games have just been off the charts. And then you got Brady and Roethlisberger on the other side, which is a matchup that you never want to miss. So
Yeah,
these games this weekend are going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be really, really fun to see who gets into the Super Bowl.
yeah. I think I might have to change my Super Bowl prediction. I don't know. Let's talk about this upcoming Packers Falcons game. I saw something today. It said the Falcons defensive coordinator, didn't he used to be at the Seahawks? Or
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Yeah. The Falcons defensive coordinator he is 3-0 when facing Aaron Rodgers. 2 of the games, I believe, or maybe all 3 of them were at Seattle. Obviously, Seattle has a lot better defense than the Falcons do, Seahawks had a lot better defense back then than the Falcons do now. But with that being said, I feel like
The Falcons' offense is better though,
yeah,
especially if Julio Jones is able to go.
Yeah, I feel like Matt Ryan's going to torch that Green Bay secondary, especially since they got so many injuries.
Yeah, in order for the Packers to win, it's got to be a shootout.
Yeah,
they're going to have to outscore them, kind of like they did earlier this season. You know, they played, I think, week 9, and the Falcons pulled it out with a late touchdown. I think with under a minute to go to beat the Packers, and that's when the Packers were really hurt. I mean, they were hurt. Clay Matthews wasn't playing. Nick Perry was out, and they had they were playing with 2 scout team corners at cornerback. They were missing Jake Ryan at middle linebacker, and then offensively they weren't even really clicking at the time, and still ended up putting up 30 in that game. But it's going to have to be a shootout for the Packers to win on Sunday. Do I think that they can win? Yes. I don't really see the Falcons stopping the Packers much on offense. Hopefully Jordy Nelson's able to come back. They're saying that there's a slight chance that he's able to play Sunday, meaning that if they win, he's probably playing in the Super Bowl, which would be huge. But they got to get past this game first. But just to have his presence on the field would be huge. But you got to credit Randall Cobb, Jared Cook, and Devontae Adams and Geronimo Allison for really stepping up in his absence on Sunday and playing well, especially Jared Cook. It was a huge day for the tight end that the Packers were able to sign in free agency this offseason, and it was a huge get for them. He's been a difference maker in their offense.
Yeah, he really has. But I do think that, that Packers defense, that's the Achilles heel, the Packers secondary, to be specific, is their Achilles heel.
Yeah, their big thing is they're going to have to get pressure on Matt Ryan. And they're going to have to try to get him in some 3rd and long situations and then really get pressure on him. And it's going to take, Clay Matthews and Nick Perry. And then they're saying that the Packers are also going to get Dayton Jones back this weekend, which will be huge for them in the pass rushing on 3rd down. So if they're able to get some pressure on Matt Ryan, it could change the game a little bit.
Yeah, it really could. But the Packers are going to have to score 40 if they're going to win this game.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to score. They're going to give up points. I mean, going into the game, you have to expect that already as a Packers fan.
I think Matt Ryan throws for at least 5 touchdowns.
I don't know. They'll run in a few.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll throw for 5, but I think they score 4. I think that let's set the over-under at 4.5, and I'll take the under at 4 for touchdowns, and I guess you'll take the over. But
yeah, I'll take the over.
I think the Falcons get 31, and I think it's going to be up to the Packers to score more than 31 this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Should be good. What's the spread right now?
I hadn't even looked yet, honestly.
I think it's 4.5. Does that sound right?
It probably is, yeah.
If it's 4.5, that's a tough spread. That's really tough.
Well, it's tough anyways because you got the Packers who are on fire right now, and then you got the Falcons who are on fire. The Falcons are on a 5-game win streak and playing really well. So Falcons are 4.5 favorite, and New England is a 5.5 favorite, and that's an interesting game to me. It's at Gillette, but if Pittsburgh's able to run the ball with Le'Veon Bell, it could spell a long day for New England because that's what you saw with Houston. Houston was able to keep the ball. They kind of played keep away and kept Brady's offense off the field for a while, and they kept it a close game until late. But I give the Steelers more of a shot to win this game than I did a week ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I think New England's going to win and cover against the Steelers.